I know everybody and their mother has a podcast. We're winging it, you're winging it. Let's wing it together. Hi, my name is Dallas. Yes, like Texas, and yes, like the TV show. I've heard every possible joke. It's either one of those two. I am part of the Anthill community. So we basically are based in the UK and South Africa. As you can tell by the accent, I'm from South Africa. I live in Joburg. And Amy and Nikki, they stay in the UK in Minehead. So between us ladies, we are trying to help parents navigate home education in the UK and homeschooling in South Africa. And we want to do that by connecting with parents and really trying to get to the root of what they need help with. We all have formal and informal experience with childcare. So we're coming from a place of understanding that it is not an easy journey. We are still looking for people to interview. So if you are interested in being part of the podcast, please can you send us an email? We would love to hear from you and we'd love to hear your story, all the positives that have come out of it, any challenges you faced, any questions, and also some advice that you can give to other parents when they might need it. Thank you so much for being here for our first episode. We are so excited. Okay, let's get started.
Okay, Harry is age 12 and he has diagnosed autistic spectrum disorder. Um, and the struggles came in secondary where he literally drowned because the tools were not available for him. And I would sincerely, honestly say to any parent, listen to your gut, not what society wants for it, because it can be turned around before it becomes a real mental health problem. Um, there's a lot more demands. Now, ASD can't really cope with demands. See, Harry and I and his dad and his brother have always had a relationship from day one, whereas it's the way you ask them. So you can get what you want. You can get the result you want if you're asking in the right way. Because it's all about demands. Stop putting them. Don't. So we've always respected Harry's opinion anyway, as we did with the eldest. As a couple, that's just the way we are. We're all equal. What you've got to say, Harry, is warrants full respect. Same as us. You know, where years ago it was like, you're only a child. You know, what is your point? You know, so we've always had that like bond. But the demands from primary to secondary was the size of the school, the size of the classes. He had a rota. He'd never, that little rota. And if you did forget a pen, you were constantly put on negative points for the most silliest things ever. Um, you know, Not even like let them bed in. They wouldn't, just negative. It was more like a prison. That's what it was literally portraying to Harry. And to me, if I was to step into his ASD Wales, which we do, of course it would have felt like prison. Oh no, you have to apply for a pass if you want to go and have a week. No way, and they're locked all day. And then now the teacher will stand outside until you're done. Basically, when we had my last school report in year 6 primary, I did the dress with the teacher in primary saying, I really worry about if Harry's going to be able to cope in secondary. And he was so shocked. He was like, no way. Don't even think like that, because I can't even believe you're thinking that. And I was like, oh, okay. So I felt good about that, because I thought, oh, okay, maybe I'm being overprotective. But he was fine all through Pascal's, which is his primary school. So the pupil profile was passed over to secondary. Goes to secondary school. no phone calls, no nothing. Just he's just the same as everybody else, you know. So very quickly, 3 days in, I was like, "Can I have a meeting, please, with the assistant year head or with anybody?" Yeah, okay. And they just turn up and they were just like, "No, no, no, it's not what we do. We leave them for the first term, to find their own feet." And I was like, "But surely you can put some kind of provision in place, like that go to, or you know, you've got his pupil profile in plenty, like nearly a year ago. So there his needs. They won't wait for 6, 7 weeks." I said, "And I'm trying to stop this drowning because I know if he's left, he's going to drown. It's too much bigger scale. It's huge, absolutely huge, like in high school in America." No, it's like, "Go away, mum." No, mum, that's not our rules. Okay. And then lo and behold, he did. He slowly but surely become really quiet when he was coming home, whereas he's normally open, as we're a household that discusses feelings on a daily basis. Um, no, quite subdued. Then he started like reverting to his bedroom, staying there. "Just leave me, please, mum, leave me." Went on for weeks. This tried to address it with the school again. No, no. And then they'd get Harry in the room with me, the secondary school teachers, and they'd be like, "Harry, what, so you need to sort it out. You don't want to be having your mum coming up to school. You're absolutely fine. You're fine." And he's like, "Aren't you, Harry?" And he'd go, But that's because he felt under duress, you know, more or less putting words in his mouth. So it was like as if they "Go away, silly mother" kind of thing. And I thought, I'm 55 years of old age. I've been and seen and done. I know children. Um, so then I was just told, okay, you can have this reduced timetable. But then I was like the devil, caught with like in the devil in the deep blue sea, because yes, it may have helped him a little, but also it didn't help him because it then singled him out massively amongst his peers. And that for a 12-year-old was no, because you then become the odd child. Look at you, just coming in here, there, and everywhere. You weirdo. Um, so it was like catch 22. But the first day, Harry come home and he was like, "We had reduced hours, mum, but they keep saying to me, don't get used to it." They said, "Don't get used to this. This is just a very temporary thing." So then I addressed it with the teacher. I said, "Can we just let him breathe for a little and stop and let him enjoy the temporary hours?" Yeah, but we don't want to lull him into a false sense of security. Um, so that's probably why they are saying it in reduced hours. Um, and then we just got a shell of a person from a boy who never cried, never ever could. He just wouldn't cry or hug, didn't like to show feelings, sob, sob, and I mean literally fall out the bed on the floor. He moved back in bed with me, so he stayed in bed with me for a year. Um, only got out about 4 weeks ago, and that's because he wanted. So he's back in his bed and very happy. He's like, "Mum, I don't want to sleep in the bed anymore. Look at the age of me, blah blah blah." And he's comfortable enough now to do that. But in terms of the school, their answer was, "Look, can you not just homeschool then?" Because they just constantly threatened him, giving him threats. "What you doing to your mum? You know, you
So,
know, this is silly." So they just said to Harry, "Look, there's a fine on my desk and it's got your mum's name on it. And if you don't go in on Friday, then she's going to have to pay that. But find all that money." And he just had his head down. So will you come in then on Friday? And he was like, "Yeah." And then she said, "And if you don't come in on Friday, it won't just be the fine. Your mum will be sent to prison." And he just literally collapsed like an adult having a nervous breakdown. And I was like, right, okay, bye. And I thought, there's no good having an education if you haven't even got your mental health. So I had to reverse it all. Give them the letters that they wanted, because they didn't want it affecting their attendance. You see, they've got figures. And took it. Me and my sister said, he needs to get away. He needs absolutely building up. So on a daily basis, it was like picking this from the minute I get up. I was like picking up this negative brain and broken brain. And thank God, he said, I can't believe my life now, Mum. I'm so happy.
Oh.
He's a lot more positive, whereas ASD are naturally built negative. Um, he's loving exercises, and so much more worldly. Where he had no common sense really when he was in school. He wouldn't know how to put a kettle on. Now he'll cook a roast dinner where I won't interfere, but I'll just stand near with him in the kitchen. And to the point where he plates it up. His mind is on this. It's so broadened. His mind is unbelievable. He's got friends because we encouraged, you haven't got that school side to meet new friends. So we'll get them. You knock on every door, and a lot of the doors you won't want to open. Once they are opened, you want to close them. But he's done 6 months now in Muay Thai. It's become a community, a family. As I say, he's got 9 friends. He's so focused on. Oh, wow. And that's what I say. I do hear a lot of people saying I worry about the isolation, but there's so much forest school out there now in Liverpool. There's lots, I'm finding, and I will share with anybody because not obviously knowledge is power, if it helps them, because I never had it at the time. I might be being naive, but I don't think any of the secondary schools listen from hearsay from other parents. You get the odd one that you say, oh, they're great with my son who's got ASD, but no, it's all about the numbers. It just seems to be very much a business.
Mm.
But they were just so quick to say, well, just homeschool. And I was like, but yeah, his needs aren't huge. Now, I actually strongly believe that, do you know the way the government, after the COVID scenario, come out and apologise to all these people that were left in care homes and couldn't see loved ones when they were dying. So all they do is apologise. I strongly believe in probably another 5 or 10 years, the government are going to be sat there apologising for messing up our kids by having such an archaic education system. Because there's so many in the classes, they're all messed up, and the stories he tells me, self-harms or cuts herself, or such a body's got, they've all got anxiety since they've gone to secondary school. So I wasn't allowing Harry to be one of them numbers. Apparently, the council it's their responsibility to see that a child under 16 is to attend education or be educated. Well, why don't you give us something at home, or why don't you advise us, or give us the tools then? Because we're more than happy. He's not like an Xbox child. He's not one of them. That's it. He could be if I was a lazy parent. Probably could have gone down that route, but it's not. That's not us. We want to succeed. They're our investments. Is our children, and that's the only investments we've ever made, and it's paid dividends because my boys spoke highly of everywhere. Oh, I felt lost. I felt like I was, because I'm normally quite good at things, and being in control of everything, especially the priorities, which are your children. I felt so lost. I felt so out of control. I thought, am I doing wrong? Am I doing right? It affected my health mentally, and that's why I said, I've got to do this yoga. I've got to reach out to something because I'm drowning myself. It's drowning me. Never thought I'd come to this in my life. So just scurried through lots of Google everything. What do you do when you homeschool? Is it, blah, blah. And when they do homeschool, can they go back? And it's just like scurrying through information that literally some nights would just make me drop the phone and I'd be that exhausted. And then I was in information overload. Oh, it's like, you're going to buy a car, you've seen too many, so you have to take a few weeks break because you think, I can't even pick one. Well, that's what I was like. So it suited both of us to have, we were both on burnout, basically. His mind is unbelievable. He's got friends because we encouraged, you haven't got that school side to meet new friends. So we'll get them. You knock on every door, and a lot of the doors you won't want to open. Once they are opened, you want to close them. But he's done 6 months now in Muay Thai. It's become a community, a family. As I say, he's got 9 friends. He's so focused on, oh, wow. And that's what I say. I do hear a lot of people saying I worry about the isolation, but there's so much forest school out there now in Liverpool. There's lots, I'm finding, and I will share with anybody because not obviously knowledge is power, if it helps them, because I never had it at the time. Oh, confidence wise, the freedom that he's needed, the less, although he does, it's a tricky one because they want structure, but they can't have too much structure. So he benefits from the less structure. The demands, it basically, if you want to summarize the whole lot, it's the demands and the pressure. Please go with your gut. Listen to no one at that time. You've got to go with what is in front of you that day. Your child, if it's painting a picture, as a mum, that stop the world and get off. You've got to stop that world, any world, and get off and reflect, take time to heal, and then make a decision on moving forward with what's best for your child and yourself.